So this video blew up way more than I thought it would, and I just wanted to address some of the comments I've been getting, and not really to call out any of the commenters or ask for like sympathy or anything, but I wanted to use it as a jumping off point to talk about some character design stuff and overall why artists make OCs to begin with. First off, disclaimer, if you like any of the older designs better than where Aurier ended up, that's totally fine. You're entitled to your opinion. And it's still my work, so I still take it as a compliment. But the most important part is that I like her now better than I did before. And I think making comments like it's such a downgrade, you just got worse. I saw one calling her final design a CalArts version, and I'm just like, I don't think you know what that means. But again, I drew her for me, and I like how she's turned out. And I've had a lot of opportunities to redesign her, and I haven't taken it because I feel like I like where she ended up, and I have no real reason to change any of it. But I don't want to dwell on the comments too much. I actually wanted to walk through some of the older designs and kind of my mindset and why I made the changes I did. So her original design was for a game writing course where we had to essentially pitch a game at the end of the class. So a lot of her early versions were, at least for me, felt like it was just like a girl with red skin and horns. She was just kind of a pretty typical Japanese warrior girl, and at least for me, didn't really have her own identity beyond the kind of obvious Oni features. So I eventually gave her more unique characteristics like her long curly hair, which I knew a lot of people really enjoyed and I still really like to this day. But this version was being put into a game where I was hand animating, and it became really obvious that animating those curls was not really feasible for someone who is not really an animator. She eventually lost that with the next one where she kind of just got this like short ponytail. This one is the one I'm kind of like, this is my least favorite version of her. I think it was born out of compromise to just kind of get rid of that hair, so she kind of lost a lot of her unique features. But we eventually get to the point in which I started using her for my D&D campaign, and that's when we get the first big jump. Since the character didn't go through much writing, I feel like I kind of designed her a lot on autopilot and kind of general personality traits. So a lot of Oni characters do get kind of sexualized a lot in media, and I think I was kind of running with that stereotype almost. But as I started to play her and kind of play her as a real character in our campaign, I started to realize it wasn't really fitting her character. She's more playful in kind of not really a childish way, but like more like an immature way. So I felt like sexualizing her was a bit weird. So I eventually got to toning it down a bit. Oh, I still forgot to mention the green hair actually is a reference to Lam from Urusei Yatsura. I thought it gave her a very unique color palette, and even when she eventually turns purple, I kept it because I thought it was a nice nod to one of like the most famous Oni, but also a super unique feature. But yeah, you can tell with like my later iterations, when she levels up a bit more, I started to tone down the fan service, I guess we could call it. Eventually, when I get to her current design is when I really started to play with kind of a more unique anatomy. What I really like about her current design is that I've kind of really pushed the more cartoony proportions for her. She has these kind of like tree trunk legs, which actually I sort of have in real life, but obviously not to her degree, and these like really huge hands. So I think she ended up looking less and less like kind of your typical Oni girl character as the further and further I explored her. Even something like her hair covering her face is very unique to her because she's a barbarian character, and she's sort of making literal her like blind rage. So yeah, that's kind of the journey that Aurier took while I was designing her. Actually digging through my files to find the older versions of her, the first design was 2016, and that means I've been drawing her in some form for almost 10 years, which is pretty crazy. Overall, I wanted to state again that like it's okay if you think one of the older versions is more to your taste, and I think there's a lot to like about some of the older versions as well. But I just wanted mostly to tell other artists that like when you're designing your characters, the only person you really have to please is yourself. So I'm pretty secure in my artistic ability and my design chops. The comments didn't really get to me to make me feel like I've regressed or stopped improving or got worse as an artist. I know that I haven't. It's just I want to tell other artists if they get similar comments that even if there is like a regression or a perceived regression, art doesn't have to be a straight line to improvement, because usually if you're getting comments like that, it's really about mass appeal. And if you're drawing every day, if you're working hard on your design skills every day, you're not getting worse. It's the stuff you make might not appeal to everyone, and I think that's actually a mark of good design when you can get more hyper specific about the appeal of your characters. But yeah, this is probably going to be a really long video, which I don't usually make, but anyway, I had a lot to say about this, and thank you for sticking around if you did. Bye.